it is. Okay. Here we go, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Going to press play on here and jump in to our night about the skilled trades, with a slight focus on the skilled trades that involve apprenticeships. So we'll talk about apprenticeships. And in case we haven't met, which we probably haven't, my name is Allison Steife. I am the career and college counselor for Baker Early College, but have worked with Baker Webb students as well. And I just think we have the coolest school, and I'm really passionate about helping all of our students really plan for a life that they're excited about after high school. I know it can be scary, and so my goal is to flip those nerves into excitement. And hopefully we can do that tonight by talking about some cool opportunities when it comes to careers. So I'll kind of give you an overview of what we'll be chatting about tonight. If you have questions, though, as we go, I'll pause a few times and check the chat box, so you can feel free to ask questions in the chat. And then at the end, I'll open it up for time to unmute yourself and do some Q&A. So before all that, though, we will cover hopefully a lot and answer any questions that you already have. We're going to talk about the kinds of careers that we're talking about when we talk about the trades, because I think people have different ideas about what it can mean. What are the skilled trades? What are the benefits of working in a skilled trade? How to start, how to know if a skilled trade is for you, which one might it be, and then how to get there. So that might be through an apprenticeship, and we'll talk about applications for apprenticeships, or it might be a college program, and we'll talk about college programs as well. And in the middle there, we'll talk about this whole idea of pre-apprenticeships, which maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. You might learn a lot tonight. For the record, I learned some things while making this presentation, and I will be the first to admit that this is not necessarily my area of absolute expertise. I think it's a complex thing to continually learn about. And so if you have questions, I might find the answers alongside of you. I might not have them right off the cuff, because we're going to be talking about a lot of different kinds of careers, and each one has its own little quirks. So let's jump into what they are. What are these careers that we're talking about tonight? When we say the trades or the skilled trades, I imagine something instantly comes to your mind, and I would guess it would probably be either an electrician, a carpenter, a plumber, something like that. And you would be right. But there's also much more. So really, a skilled trade is any occupation that requires a particular skill set, knowledge, or ability, is usually a hands-on job. And here's where it gets, the definition really narrows. It involves an apprenticeship or a training program as opposed to a college degree. So these are careers that you are going to have a very clear path as to how to prepare for it. And as soon as you walk away from your training or your certification, you're going to be able to jump straight into a very clear career. A little different than, say, my path, where I graduated from a university with a bachelor's degree in literature and English, and there's not like one set job that you go and do with that. So I ended up going back to school, getting a master's, right? So the route I've taken has been very different than this. And they both have their pros and cons. And we're going to talk a lot about the pros tonight with trades, because there are just so many. Some specific examples of trades involve like the field of agriculture, things like a farm manager, a beekeeper, a farrier. If anyone knows what a farrier is, shout out to you. It is somebody, if you don't know, who basically grooms horses. So real like niche jobs sometimes more of those broad jobs that we think about, like I mentioned, carpenter, electrician, plumber. Those are really straightforward. I am the proud granddaughter of a plumber, somebody who owned their own plumbing company. And he had a really cool career, my grandpa. Other things that you might not necessarily, though, have thought of would be things like a mechanic or other transportation technical jobs, like a train operator or a bus operator, an aircraft technician. Really, some people would classify a pilot, right, as a trade, because you go through a very specific training program in order to become a pilot. These ones I really don't think people think of, but are really absolutely in this umbrella. Some service industry jobs like a chef or a nursing assistant, or somebody who works in massage therapy, a masseuse. Those are some examples of service industry trades. Manufacturing, so like the making of stuff is oftentimes a trade. So masons are making things with tile and brick and stone. What people are welding things, right, with metal, they're creating things with metal. So those are some trades as well. If you are here because you saw the flyer and I gave a shout out to underwater welding, here's my little career highlight of the night. It's my favorite trade just because it's so random, but really cool. My husband is constantly whispering in the ears of our little children already, don't you think it would be cool to be an underwater welder? Because I think he secretly, or not so secretly, wishes he was one. So this is somebody who welds underwater, working on things like submerged marine structures, ships, bridges, nuclear power stations, rivers. It can be dangerous, as you might imagine. You are working underwater with combustibles, right? You're like tethered to your breathing apparatus. It can be intense. You can do it in rivers where there's running water coming at you, right? It can be crazy. And because it can be crazy, it can pay up to $275,000 a year, which I think is a number that not a lot of people imagine when they think of the trades. But there are certain trades that are especially complex. They require a very well-developed skill set, and they also involve some risk. Electricians, linemen specifically, those who work on our power poles are paid very well because they're very specialized and they're working in a risky situation. So anyways, just a shout out to the hyperbaric welders of the world. I don't imagine there are very many of them. Maybe you'll be one someday. So that's an idea, right, of like the just breadth of careers we're talking about here. That only scratches the surface, really. So as we go along, you'll hear me talk about some more, and hopefully start to get ideas of even more opportunities out there. But let's jump into the benefits. Why would you pursue this path? I think so many, especially my generation and Gen Z, right, we've kind of hopped on the college conveyor belt, painted this kind of picture of it's just what you do after high school. You just go to college, you get that bachelor's degree. And that can be great for some people. And for others, it's not necessarily the right path. There are plenty of careers out there that don't require that bachelor's degree. And so stopping to think, yeah, what really do I want to do after high school? Do I want to go to college? Do I want a job that requires me to go to college? There are plenty out there that don't. So I think the best part for me about a trade and the skilled trades is just this idea right here. Kind of what I was talking about before when I was talking about my career journey. Very unlike my career journey. It is a clear path to a clear career. There's these set standards out there. There's this one certification, handful of certifications that you need, or there's an apprenticeship that you do. And then you walk away from that straight into that career that you just spent the last 2 years training in and learning about. There's not a lot of what some people might call fluff. There's no more like general education requirements. You don't have to take any more poetry classes, no matter how much I recommend people take poetry classes. The lit major in me is still down in there. But do you need them? Not necessarily. So this is just a really clear path to a clear career. In addition to that, and kind of unpacking some more of that, another benefit is, at least with the apprenticeship route, from the first day you start training, you get a paycheck. So you're getting paid to learn. That is one of the biggest differences between the college route and the trades route. You get paid for what you're learning with an apprenticeship. You are going to receive training like on the job from experts, from the people who are doing exactly what you're going to do, and you're doing it alongside of them. And it's very hands-on learning. And through it all, you're going to get a certification that's going to be recognized nationwide, kind of like a bachelor's degree from an accredited college, right? So just to give you an idea of that whole, okay, you get paid on the job. Surely you don't get paid your full salary right away. That's true. With an apprenticeship, here's an example of kind of what you could expect is at the beginning, you might be making 50% of that salary that you'll get once you're finished with your apprenticeship. And every 1,000 to 2,000 hours, you get a little more. And to give you an idea, a full-time job and so a full-time apprenticeship would be about 2,000 hours a year. So by the end of that first year, you would be already onto your next bracket, right? So you'll get paid more and more and more because you'll become more and more helpful on the job, right? You are going on the job with the carpenter journeyman that you're working with. And so you're doing work alongside them. So you're going to get paid for it, which is pretty cool. And the better you get at it, the more you'll get paid. This is perhaps the most compelling slide I'm going to show you tonight. To give you an idea of, okay, yeah, I'm making money. That's nice. But like, I could still go get my bachelor's degree and like work on the side maybe. Or get a lot of scholarship money for it, and it really won't matter. But let me show you how it could. So for tuition and room and board at OSU, this is about what you could expect. So kind of a state university, you would pay about $26,000 a year. That's before scholarships and everything, but still, it's work to get scholarships. And by the end of that 4 years, that totals up to over $100,000. You're walking away with this really great thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to dump on bachelor's degrees. They can be very wonderful. And I'll talk more about that later on. But you're going to walk away from college without a super clear career, possibly. You could major in business, but what specific job are you going to have? And what exactly is the salary that you're going to make? That's going to be a big unknown too. So how long will it take to pay back that $100,000? Not so sure. Whereas with an apprenticeship. So this is with a union electrical apprenticeship. So if you're becoming an electrician, in your first year, you could earn $40,000 more and more, right? Each year. And the total you would walk away after those 4 years with $230,000. So instead of being $100,000 in debt, you could be $200,000 in the green. Nonetheless, walking away with your very clear journeyman level electrician job ahead of you and a very clear salary of about $100,000 a year. So could be great for those who this would be a good job for, right? As you can hopefully tell from that slide, seeing that an electrician makes $100,000 a year, that's a very standard salary for a journeyman electrician. You're starting to hopefully, if it was somewhere deep inside of you, this myth that tradesmen and trades work does not pay well and doesn't have opportunities for advancement. You wouldn't be alone in believing that prior to tonight. In a survey, 40% of parents considered construction jobs to be low paying, right? Construction jobs don't pay quite $100,000 right off the bat. But they don't pay nothing. It's not like working at McDonald's. Average salaries in reality, not including things like overtime and per diem and other incentives, which are very much a part of the earnings of a lot of people who work in the trades. Average salaries are more than almost $60,000 for plumbers, HVAC technicians, and as you advance and become something like a project manager in this world and in these trades, that's where you're going to see those closer to $100,000 numbers for trades that aren't even like electricians. And remember, I talked about electricians having a very skilled kind of specific skill set and also coming with some risk. Remember, that's a big reason why they make what they make. So there are absolutely opportunities for advancement. It's not like you walk out of your apprenticeship and become a plumber and then you just fix pipes for the rest of your life. You can if you love it, but like I was talking about, I'm the proud daughter of a granddaughter of a plumber, and he started as a plumber and eventually came to own his own plumbing business, and so became very, very, very successful financially with his ownership of his plumbing business. So you do start as an apprentice oftentimes, especially with these like construction jobs or the manufacturing jobs, right? Those are the ones that are almost always going to have an apprenticeship element. Once you have completed your apprenticeship, you've graduated to becoming a journey worker. You're not being trained anymore. You're done. You can take on more responsibilities in your company on your projects and become a foreman. You can become a supervisor, right? Somewhere along the way, there are other opportunities like the ones you're seeing below to continue to earn more and more, not just money, but responsibility and ownership of what you do. And like I said, you could eventually become the owner of a business. And so there are lots of ways to grow throughout your career in the trades. Speaking of, I just want to pause for a moment and recognize my dear friend Matthew, who I've grown up with. We were friends in high school. We are friends to this day. And watching his journey, like I said, a lot of individuals in my generation and in the area that I grew up in were on this college conveyor belt. So my dear friend Matthew went to community college and really gave it a shot, but school had never been his thing. And so he struggled in community college. Passing classes was rough. He took a lot of classes again and again, and eventually said, ugh, this is not for me. You know what I love to do? I love to work with my hands. I love fixing up my motorcycles and cars. And so I'm going to go to trade school, and I'm going to become a diesel technician, a mechanic. And he did. That was about 10 years ago, almost. Not quite 10 years ago. And he eventually has gone on to becoming an engineering test technician for it's a company called Daimler. They basically design and make semi trucks, and he did that for not very long before becoming promoted to, and this is how you know I'm not making up his story, because I don't even, he became a senior mechatronics test engineering tech. I couldn't make that up. That was his next role. Somewhere along here, he actually went back to school. He did night school, and he earned his bachelor's degree through like an adult learning program. He worked really hard because he saw, okay, I'm moving up and I want to continue moving up. And in his line of work, a bachelor's in business was going to help him do that. And it did. He's now a powertrain systems integration engineer. He's a member of the board. He just spent a month in Germany, all expenses paid, working with, it's a German company. So being part of the work that they're doing in Germany, he has the coolest career, and he gets paid very well to do what he does. So he was a mechanic. He was a diesel mechanic for a while. And now he's something different. Now he hands the blueprints of the things he's helping design to technicians. So it's pretty cool. Lots of opportunities. Another benefit to the trades is the fact that there's a major labor shortage in this arena. I'll just read this. There's a significant shortage of skilled tradespeople. In fact, the industry as a whole is expected to grow 10% by 2028, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Additionally, demand has been greatly outpacing the supply in the United States, with no signs of slowing down. It's estimated that more than 3 million skilled trades jobs will remain open by 2028. So this is not, and a lot of these trades are not going to be ones that you walk out the door with your certificate in, and then you can't find a job. There are going to be plenty of opportunities, plenty of roles to be filled. And so that's a huge reason to get into this, is just the job growth of it all. And if you're wondering, man, do people like their jobs when they're in the trades? They sure do. Actually, really recent study, I think it was 2021. You can click on the link on the side. I'll share these slides out at the end. There's a really cool report on it all, that 83% of tradespeople are satisfied by their work. The majority of those, 60%, are in fact very satisfied, and additional 23% are somewhat satisfied. So people are really enjoying what they do when they work in these fields. I think working with your hands, working outside, working with people, right? These are very rarely going to be desk jobs. There are absolutely, that does exist. There are IT, trades jobs where you would do that. But for the large part, they're going to be involving moving around, being with people, being on a team, feeling like you're really helping people. And so there's a lot to be satisfied by. And there's, like I said, another part is the growth and feeling like you're constantly working towards something else in your career. So a lot of reasons why people say, hey, yeah, I really like what I do. I'm going to pause. I'm going to have a drink of water, and I'm going to make sure there's nothing going on in the chat. Okay. It doesn't look like it. But if you have a question, feel free to type it in. You know, I'm talking quickly. It will be recorded, like I said, and there's just a lot to talk about, and I want to save room at the end for questions. So let's jump into where to start. Maybe you're like, okay, I kind of know what the trades are, and they kind of sound cool. It sounds like there's some nice benefits. And oh my gosh, I just got a question in the chat that I love. Is it true that most of these trades are still open to females? Absolutely. There's a huge push to get more and more women into the trades because there have just been barriers. And so there are oftentimes things like much more scholarship money for women to be involved in the trades that you'll see when we talk about going the college route. Yeah, it's absolutely. In fact, when I was making this slideshow, I intentionally tried to pull a lot of pictures of women doing these things because we can. Your daughters absolutely can. And so let's talk about where to start. How to figure out which trade is the one for you, because it sounds like there's a lot out there, and there are. So, oh, look at look at this. Look at this. I think she's working on an elevator. It looks like. She is. Okay, so some of my favorite resources to get started. So if you haven't already, I think a lot of you might be using this in some of your classes. I have a link here. Again, I'm gonna copy paste this slideshow into the chat at the end. It will also be posted on the blog, our college and career blog, so you'll have access to it. But you'll get these links. So once you log in, that's the link to the login. Once you log in, it looks like this. So Pathful Explore is basically this whole hub of assessments and videos that you can do. There's other stuff, but those are my two favorite parts about it. So you can take an assessment, a career assessment. There's a few. These are students who have already done it because we all have the same login with our school, with our early college. If you're a web college student or a web academy student, you might have your own login. Check with your advisor. But you can take a survey. They have different kinds. And they will give you an idea of what kind of jobs might be for you based on your interests. And the trades might come up. Something in the trades might come up. And if it does, how cool. If not, talk to me about college. I do that too. But so you can take an assessment. If you do take an assessment, just download it when you're done so you can save it for yourself. And know that it's yours. But you can also go to careers and Career Central, and you can just search. You can search up some careers. Like here are a ton of videos where you basically get to job shadow people who are working as an electrician, or this guy, he's an apprentice. So you can listen to what he's doing and watch what he's doing. There's some more specialized work like train electricians, which that's cool. Electromechanical technicians. Can't tell you exactly what they do, but looks technical, and you could learn. We could all learn about it by watching that video. So yeah, search around for some things that sound interesting to you. If you're not sure where to start, though, like not sure what you want to type in that search box, what kind of videos do you want to watch? You can explore this resource. This is one of my favorite websites when it comes to trades and especially apprenticeships. So you can scroll down here to explore the occupations. There's trades in healthcare, construction. Like I said, there's IT jobs that are in the trades, manufacturing, utilities, other. So when you click on these, you'll see some sample jobs, and you can read more about what's out there. Another place you can go to really explore what's out there. It's not as flashy or as exciting, but this is the government website. This is like the nitty-gritties, the official stuff of how do you qualify for an apprenticeship and how do you apply for them, and where do you find some apprenticeship programs or information about the different kinds of jobs. So those are my 3 that I'm going to give you: Pathful Explore, Oregon Apprenticeship, and the Bureau of Labor and Industries, because I'm not going to overwhelm you. There's lots of other ways to learn about what jobs are out there, though. So start exploring, take an assessment, watch videos, do some research, and find out what's out there and what sounds like a good fit for you. And once you have an idea of what that might be, you can start learning, okay, is this a trade with an apprenticeship opportunity? And if it is, how might I go about applying? I'm going to take you back to that website that I just showed you, OregonApprenticeship.org, because they have this fantastic guide. It starts with a video where you can just listen to somebody kind of walk you through it. And then down below, they have getting started, what you need. They have a checklist. So read through this. But to kind of sum it up for you, here are some of the basics to keep in mind. So things that you might want to be doing. You might want to familiarize yourself with the search process. How would I even find an application to pull to fill out? Hey, I'm taking you back to this website I love. Can you tell I love it? So here is our lovely state. You could go about this in 2 ways. You could search for the specific industry you're interested in, the career that you want to see if they have. Look at how technical some of these are. A meat cutter, right? Let's see. I saw one the other day that I don't know what it was. But anyways, or you could scroll in and find kind of your area. One thing I will say is that if you are interested in an apprenticeship, start thinking about your willingness to move in order to do an apprenticeship, to be an apprentice. Chances are there might not be an opportunity in the specific career field you're looking for in your hometown. There are a good deal of opportunities in Portland. So if you live in Portland, you're in luck. But if you live kind of more on the eastern side of the state, you might just want to open your mind up to moving for 2 to 4 years. I'm from Central Oregon, so maybe I would zoom in and just see, what's out here. And I did. And the opportunities in Bend are things like in the IT field, like I was talking about. IT, again, is a trade, can be a trade. So you can, you can click in on this, view opportunities, and it will show you, okay, software developer, network security administrator. You can click into that, and it's going to take you even further to job descriptions and all the nitty-gritties. There are no apprenticeships for this trade at this time in this area, but you can at least kind of save that or find a contact for that opportunity and check back in with them. So now get an idea of kind of where are certain apprenticeships offered, where might I go, what might I do, and get a hang of how to find them. Build a portfolio. So if you are thinking you want to really like do one of those trades where you're making something, then take photos of the things you're making. Save the blueprints that you make for them and tuck them away, because they're going to want to see that that you have a passion for this, that you've practiced in this, and so save those things. Maybe make a little Google folder of the things that you've made and built and created. Like I mentioned, my friend Matthew, he had built motorcycles, right? So when he's applying for his program, they see, okay, he has photos of the motorcycles and videos, of these things that he's made. So practice interviewing. The interview portion is a huge portion of getting an apprenticeship. So do your research, make sure you really understand the field you're going into, ask good questions about it, speak knowledgeably about it, show up presentable, well-spoken, right? All those things. You'll want to gather some basic documents. You're going to need something that shows how old you are. You need to be 18, so proof of your age, proof of high school graduation or your GED, and then proof of math. So for most any trade, you're going to need some basic math, college or high school algebra with a C or better, or a placement test to prove that. Those placement tests can sometimes be offered at the community college, but the apprenticeship you're applying for should let you know, have information about which specific test you need to take. And then another opportunity to prepare for an apprenticeship is to do something called a pre-apprenticeship. So these are opportunities to gain experience, boost your resume. They're usually for people under 18, right? Who usually in that 16 to 18 window, who are like, hey, I'm really interested in this. I'm eager to start learning how to do it, or whether I want to do it for the rest of my life. And this is a chance to kind of dip your toes. So they're a great way to gain experience, build credentials. You're going to get priority and preference through the apprenticeship applications. If you have a pre-apprenticeship done, it's a very kind of official thing, right? There's like curriculum that goes along with it. It's certified. And so I have a link here to some pre-apprenticeship programs in Oregon that you can explore. Check with your community college though. Somebody there usually will know. Somebody in the CTE, career and technical education world at your community college will probably know if they have pre-apprenticeship opportunities. If they don't have pre-apprenticeship opportunities in your area, but you're in that 16 to 18-year-old window and you're like, I want to build a portfolio, I want to like gain some experience. Reach out to somebody who works in that field. Ask about just doing some job shadowing. Another cool opportunity, especially if you're interested in anything involving like the construction world, whether that's actual like the building of the building, or maybe it's what's behind the walls, or maybe it's the finishing work, whatever it is. Habitat for Humanity is a volunteer organization where you can literally sign up to like build a house. They let anybody do it. It's kind of wild. But you can look for opportunities in your area. They're going to be building houses from the ground up. And so you can ask to be a part of that. How cool would your portfolio be if you showed the house that you helped build for Habitat for Humanity, right? So look into that as well if there are no free apprenticeship programs in your area. So that was a lot on apprenticeships. Not every trade is going to have an apprenticeship. Some will involve college programs as part of the apprenticeship. And so there might be different reasons why you might go the college route. But when I say college programs, I'm not talking about a 4-year bachelor's degree. I'm talking about usually 1 to 2 years of a certification program, a CTE. You're going to hear the CTE, Careers and Technical Education Program. You're going to get usually a certificate instead of a degree, but that's just as valuable for the actual career you're wanting to go into. So like I said, it might be the only option to get to the trade that you want. It might be part of your apprenticeship, or it might just be the route you choose because you do like school, the accountability it provides, the support, the camaraderie of having like a classroom and a cohort. So maybe you just, that feels better to you, and you want to go that route. So there are lots of reasons why you might go the community college or trade school route. Sometimes it's called trade school. Sometimes it's a CTE program through a community college. An example of one that's, probably not going to have like an apprenticeship, but you need this 2-year program certification in order to become one would be a vet tech. Is it, like I said, 2-year program, summers off. Students gain confidence and refine technical skills as they progress from small hands-on labs and lectures to fulfilling 360 hours of clinical internship work during their final term. So you're hearing this kind of blend of you're going to be in the classroom some, and you're going to be taking classes, doing coursework, taking tests. But the trade school or the college is also going to partner you with a clinical opportunity to work in a veterinarian office and get the hours you need in order to get this certification. So you're going to do both a lot of times with these programs. There are so many programs like this, dental assisting, nurse assistants, right? So a lot of those like health career trades are going to be this route, but a lot of mechanic and technician programs. There's welding programs. There's so many. There's pilot programs, right? Airplane and helicopter programs through community colleges and trade schools. So lots and lots and lots and lots of opportunities. If this is something that you want to talk about more, I'm happy to help you try to connect to the program that is right for you, because there are a lot of community colleges offering a lot of different certifications. You generally walk away with the same thing, but it can be kind of overwhelming to choose. An example of more of the like, you're going to college, but it's through your apprenticeship would be the electrician route. And look at all these community colleges where you might find yourself if you are working to become an electrician in Oregon. So just because you're doing an apprenticeship doesn't mean that you're only working with your hands. Oftentimes you are doing coursework behind the scene. Sometimes you pay for that coursework. sometimes the apprenticeship program pays for that coursework or part of it. You can still get scholarships as an apprentice. You can definitely get scholarships from routes like this one. So if you're looking for money in order to do this, if a big reason why you wanted to go into the trades was to avoid paying for college, here's one way that you can get some financial support. So if you haven't heard of the Oregon Promise Grant, I'm here to tell you that it is wonderful and it takes 5 minutes to apply for it. You can get your, depending on where you're at in Oregon, your full tuition covered. Also, depending on your family's income, your EFC, expected family contribution. So it kind of depends exactly how much money you'll get, but you will likely get a good chunk of your tuition paid at a community college, up to 90 credits. So for our early college students, if you've been taking a lot of classes at your community college, you might not be able to take a full 90 credits after you graduate at community college and have it paid for, but you can have hopefully some. So as long as you have a 2.5 GPA and you are on track to graduate from high school, you just have to submit it by your deadline, and you have to complete the FAFSA alongside it, or the ORSA if that's the right track for you. So just make sure you're applying by your deadline, which I believe is June 1st. This little chart here will show us, depends on when you're graduating. So you would say, I'm graduating from traditional high school. Let's say you're graduating the beginning of June of this year. There we go, June 1st. So a lot of you will be June 1st, but you can find out exactly. So don't sleep on the Oregon Promise. It's awesome. The hardest part about it is filling out the FAFSA in order to qualify for it. But the actual Oregon Promise Grant application literally takes 5 minutes. It's like your name and your your GPA, like your very basic information, your address. So yeah, jump on that. Doesn't hurt to apply, just go do it. No matter what, I always say, no matter what you're doing after graduation, no matter what you think you're doing, just complete the Oregon Promise Grant application, because you never know if you're going to want to do more community college. It gives you the opportunity to go back and have some of it paid for. So you can click here for a list of all of the Oregon community colleges, in case you're wondering, what's the one closest to me and what kind of programs do they provide? So that is there for you all. And that is what I have for you tonight. We have a whole 10 minutes left. So I'm going to share the link to this slideshow in the chat. The recording, oh gosh, wrong button. The recording will be available in the next few days on our blog, which is just BCS College Career is our website. I'll include a link for that as well. Let's make this available to everyone who has the link. I'll copy it and I'll paste it. All right, there you go. The link to our website, I will also include in the chat. If you go to the blog there, the recording and slides will be there as well. Feel free to unmute yourself. I'm going to stop recording so that you don't have to worry about your questions being recorded.